before I begin this review, please make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell to stay up to date with our content. We will hopefully have some content midweek for you guys in terms of Digimon content, so stay tuned for those. But let's start off with the review. The episode starts off with Skullknightmon and silhouettes of hundreds of Digimon. To me, it looks like Vadermon, the Digimon Mega Kabuterimon debuted against in the original adventure. Both the Vadermon and I believe it is Millenniummon talking in the third person, both are talking about Millenniummon's will coming from the Cloud Continent. Guys, the original war happened in the Cloud Continent, or at least the battle with Millenniummon happened there. I think there's more to the Cloud Continent than meets the eye. Millenniummon is way too strong to be defeated, so there has to be something that can help the Digidestin to defeat Millenniummon, like Millenniummon has his own kryptonite to be used against him. The Digimon 2020 series is always referencing other Digimon series such as Frontier, Fusion and Data Squad, as well as the original. We have seen in the previous episode and in this episode, Patamon Digivolve into Pegasusmon, an armored Digimon. Even before that, we have seen Wargreymon have Sagittarius mode and Wargreymon with his alternate mode. I believe we will see Ancient Greymon and Ancient Garurumon as a result in order to beat Millenniummon whenever Millenniummon eventually returns. Now in Digimon lore, it was said that the Digimentals were made first before the crests. In ancient times, that's how Digivolutions worked, using the Digimentals in order to Digivolve. What if the Digimentals are in the Cloud Continent, but instead of armor Digivolving the partner Digimon to their armor Digimon, because we saw in the last episode and in this episode the Digivice with the crest embedded can armor Digivolve the partner Digimon into their armor Digimon stage, why not have the Digimentals Digivolve the partner Digimon into their ancient counterparts, the 10 legendary warriors, or in this case 8 or whatever. It would bring back the Digimentals into the story as well, and the lore makes sense for it because we didn't fully see the war from Lockmon's vision, so at some point maybe Wargreymon and Garurumon ended up digivolving into their ancient forms. Who knows, but I think this would be cool to see if they did this. I do firmly believe that there could be something in the Cloud Continent that can beat Millenniummon. He was defeated there in the Cloud Continent, so I can see history repeating itself. I have a feeling we will go back to the Cloud Continent at some point. Maybe not for my theory, but there is something there 100%. Tai, Sora and TK, as well as their partner Digimon, finally catch up to Skullknightmon, and we see what looks like a ceremony going on for Millenniummon, as we see a whole bunch of crystals arising from the ground, and we hear the voice of Millenniummon explaining to Kari about the shards of the fallen Millenniummon. But why is Kari smiling? Even when Tai is screaming her name, why is she smiling? Am I the only one that finds Kari so creepy in this? Like, yo, is she possessed or something? The voice also said that Millenniummon was the one that desired Kari and wanted her to be a sacrifice. Now, I don't think she would have died. I think her crest of light would have been the sacrifice in order to give birth to Millenniummon again. Take away light and what do you see? Darkness. And that's what I think the voice meant. Greymon and Birdemon start their charge against Darkknightmon. Darkknightmon is just so badass. He looks a lot like Alphamon, and he is also a boss level Digimon as well. I can't lie, whenever I see Darkknightmon on screen, I want him to win. You know when a bad guy in a show that is so cool and you just want to root for them, even though they are the bad guy. Even Black Wargreymon had this. Back in Adventure 02, he was also a bad guy, technically, but the design and the badass attitude, the no nonsense, like he doesn't take any shit from anyone, made you root for these type of characters. Tai tried to reach out for Kari, but she got sucked into the darkness, and you can see the look on Tai's face, just pure shock. I think he's shocked as well the fact that Kari is being so nonchalant about it. Even before her eyes turned blue, she was so calm and casual about the whole thing. Wargreymon is charging in at Darkknightmon. Whilst he seems to be getting stronger with the dark lightning, you can hear the Nidhoggmon, Don Devimon battle theme in the background, which means that this is a losing fight for Wargreymon. It turns out that Kari knew someone was calling her. I mentioned this in my previous reviews, even when TK was looking for Patamon, that Digidestin and their partner Digimon have an otherworldly connection that cannot be explained. And even though Kari knew someone was calling her, this was such a life-ending gamble she took. She is literally letting herself be possessed and swallowed by darkness. She doesn't know she's going to survive. Guys, I know the Digidestin and their partners will go to the depths for one another, but I'm sorry, Kari was just dumb here. This is beyond playing with fire. Because of you, there is a chance Millenniummon might come back. I think if Kari actually talked to her older brother, who by the way feels like absolute shit because she was just smiling as she is disappearing into the darkness, making him feel helpless as an older brother, then maybe they could have gone about saving Gatomon in a different way. I can't be the only one thinking how dumb Kari's plan is here. She is literally putting the whole world at risk by doing this. I found it so ironic that Kari is screaming for Gatomon's hand when she herself ignored Tai's hand when he asked for hers. I understand the whole point of it, but I still think this was dumb. I thought with her eyes turning blue, I thought she was going to turn into the Digimon Empress. I thought they were going to have her fully go heel against Tai and the others, because you would think that when she got sucked in, that's her full transformation into the darkness. But it turned out she wasn't even possessed at all. Personally, I would have loved to have seen her go fully evil. They were teasing it, but what can you do? Maybe in the future episodes, we will see someone go evil. They teased it with Tai, they're teasing it with Kari, maybe Matt or Izzy will go evil, who knows. Wargreymon enters the stage and uses his Brave Tornado to not only break Darkknightmon and save Kari, but also do damage to the spirit of Millenniummon. And due to that impact, the crystals have all been shattered as well. Tai, Kari, Gatomon and Agumon reunite with the others. Overall, this was a very good episode. However, I just didn't like Kari's plan at all. If she turned evil in this episode, however, I would have understood why the show went in this direction with her character. Can you imagine if she actually turned evil? That would have been the biggest twist in Digimon. But other than her plan, this was a solid episode. And you did feel happy when she united with Gatomon. In a way, it was still kind of symbolic, finding that little spark of light in a literal void of darkness. So there was some good stuff with that. I don't think this is the end of Darkknightmon. If Millenniummon does return, and he will return, I am certain Darkknightmon will return with him. Guys, comment down below your thoughts on the episode and what do you think will happen next. And as always, care for nothing.